Greetings. Welcome to NASCAR America Debrief. Nate Ryan, Marty Snyder, Kyle Petty taking your phone calls here left over from NASCAR America Motor Mouths. Also on the Motorsports on NBC YouTube channel. I'm monitoring the comment chat box. You're watching us here on NASCAR America Debrief on the YouTube channel. I'm monitoring all your questions and comments there as well. So please let us know what you think. But we're going to start on the phones with Chris.
That was impressive because Nate's computer's
that was good,
not
yes.
working.
Yeah, I have to log back in now.
Log back in. So, Chris,
But Chris, welcome to NASCAR America Debrief.
Hey, I was wanting to talk about a shocker team, the Wood Brothers. You and Kyle both drove for them. What do you think about Paul Menard winning?
Yeah, you know, and we talked about it. Dale mentioned it. Paul could win. Yeah. That's a team that could win there. And I know last time they won on the strategy and all that stuff, but that's a team to play that strategy. You have to run good. You have to be put in position. Nobody's going to call strategy from 29th position and win Indianapolis. Just not going to happen. Watch it happen now. But there's a team that has run strong all year. But again, that's another group that has to put a whole race together and put themselves in position if something does happen.
Yeah. And they had a sneaky good run going at Darlington as well.
Oh, they've had a couple of good
running close to the top.
They've had a couple of pretty good runs going this year.
Yeah.
And that's how he won in 2011. He won on strategy.
That's right.
Correct. Fuel mileage.
But they were decent most of the day.
Yeah.
They weren't 30th. They were 12th, 13th, 14th, right
and
along
I'll
in there.
say it again. This is a strategy race where a team can steal some stage points, do something like that. So don't count out your playoff drivers until the end of the race.
Indeed, indeed. Let's go to one of Kyle Petty's favorites. Anthony is here on NASCAR America Debrief. Welcome, Anthony.
Hey, Marty, Kyle, DJ, and Nate. How are you guys doing?
What's up? Doing well.
We're good.
Well, that's really good to hear. So, DJ, you've won an Indy twice in your career.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, bad
DJ
news,
left.
Anthony.
DJ left. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
DJ had to go catch a flight.
He had to go catch a flight, man, so he's not here anymore.
Kyle can play the role of DJ if you want.
Yeah.
Actually, he has been playing
the role of DJ will now be played by Marty Snyder as the world turns. So ask your question.
All right. So the question I wanted to ask you guys is, when it comes to Indianapolis, what makes the place so special to you guys?
That's a really good question because I think what makes it special is just the history of the place. When we first went there, Tony George and Bill France Jr. both said, we're not breaking the old tradition. We're trying to start a new tradition. I think it's been there long enough that it is a tradition. Kissing the bricks that Dale Jarrett started is a tradition, and it's something that every one of these drivers looks forward to. Obviously, the amount of money they paid the first few years, it's kind of like Cup drivers now. They bought their way to the top, and that's a whole nother issue for another show. But at the same time, they've positioned themselves, and the history of that place for motorsports in this country is huge. The history of Indianapolis as the center of the universe as far as motorsports went in America is a big thing. So to go there and win that race and have a good day and put your name on that trophy, that's a big deal. So I think that's why it's so important for the guys in the Cup Series now.
Let me ask you this. If they changed it to run the road course, which is a constant rumor that they might do that, would it carry the same prestige?
No.
Would not?
No. For me, it wouldn't.
Okay.
For me, it wouldn't. Any more than it would if we went to Daytona and ran the road course down there. It's a totally different race. It's not the race. You know, it's just not that race.
There's been chatter about if NASCAR stays at the Brickyard, maybe they would move to the road course. I think that's totally the wrong play. I think if you're at the Brickyard, the only reason you're there is to run the oval.
If we go there just to run the oval, then I'd rather go to Road America or Mid-Ohio or someplace like that. I'd rather go to a real road course.
Okay.
Yeah, agreed.
Good point.
Question from YouTube before we get back to the phones. Cameron Simpson's got a good one. Wants to know, what do we think is the hardest round in the playoffs?
I think it's team dependent, don't you, Kyle? I mean, there are teams that struggle in the first round. There are teams that look at round two and go, oh, no, I'm worried about that round. I think it's different for everybody.
I think watching these rounds are funny because I think it's like the first round for me is always fascinating because guys I think are going to have an easy job end up stepping on their toes at some point in time and you get guys that are kicked out. But for me, I really look at the second round being a tough round. And I say that because you've got guys that look past that round sometimes and get caught in trouble. You've got guys that are focused solely on making it to the 8. and they know they're not going to make it to the other, so they knock people out. So it's a brutal round for me.
Second round's got Talladega. So if you have problems at Dover, suddenly you go to Dayton.
Race-wise, it's a brutal round too. Yes, I think that round for me is a tough one.
The way it lays out this year, to me, I mean, I think there are more difficult ones than other ones, but I mean, I think it's playoff dependent. But next year, you look at the playoffs. I mean, there are hard rounds. Like I think
really
like Bristol and Richmond are in the same round, and the Roval. I mean, that's round 1 next year. That's going to be
crazy.
Darlington's in there. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. So, but to me, I'll just use the quick example. Like I literally talked to Jeremy Bolins and Cole Pern in back-to-back conversations this weekend. Jeremy Bolins told me he was terrified of the first round. Cole Pern told me he couldn't wait for it. And so I think it just depends on the tracks.
Good
like they're excited to go to Richmond. They're excited to go to the Roval. They'll be really good at Vegas. And all 3 of those races scare the 12 teams.
It's funny to hear that from Bolins, considering he has the defending car winner.
Did they really have the best car at the Roval?
Yeah.
Probably not. And Richmond's their worst racetrack. That's why it worries them.
Let's go back to the phones and talk to Adrian. Adrian, welcome to NASCAR America Debrief.
Hello, this is Adrian.
How you doing, Adrian?
Good. How are you guys doing?
What's going on?
I had a question for everybody. I was wondering, with Denny Hamlin kind of having a slow start to the season, and now that he's called up to his teammate Kyle and tied with Truex, does anybody think that he'll surpass Kyle and maybe take it this year?
Yeah, I will. That's a good question. Listen, Kyle's one of those drivers that even when he's cold, he's hot. And you know, even when he has an off day, he runs second and third. I'm sorry. Denny is one of those drivers, when he has an off day, he runs 12th or 13th. At the same time, this sport and the way it is with the playoffs and the way we are, and after we run Indy, we've run the first 2/3 of the season or the first regular season part of it, 26 races. It's a streak-type season where a driver can get hot and make something happen for himself. And that's what Denny's done over the last 5 or 6 races. He was doing it at Darlington, too. I mean, he's just had that. He is on a streak right now. So it's going to be interesting to see how long the streak, if he can continue at another 10 races. If he can, then he'll be your champion. Just about. I would just about say he's going to be your champion if he can continue that. If not, then he's going to fall back into the clutches of a Kyle Busch or a Joey Logano or a Martin Truex or the rest of the pack.
I would say he is much better positioned to win a title this year, Kyle, than he was in 2010 when he was in the same kind of, streak.
In his head, he's
100%.
In his head, he is on his game right now.
Much more prepared.
He's in
this year.
a very good place.
A different zone.
As he told us after Bristol. Steve is up next on the phone. Steve's got a question about Denny's teammate, Erik Jones. Steve, you're
what's
up.
going on, guys?
How you doing?
What's up?
All right, it's good. It's my birthday. I get to talk to Kyle Petty, so not bad.
Happy birthday, man.
Look at that. That's cool.
Thank you. Here's my thing. What do you think the chances are Erik Jones gets super hot and goes on a run and wins this championship? Because, I mean, he's been looking good all year, just keeping up on the season. And it's like if he gets a win going and gets going, he's going to be tough.
You know, I do think, and look, we just said it when we were finishing up Motor Mouth. I think this team is that team that you don't know what's going to happen to them, because winning at Darlington is a huge momentum builder for this team, especially going into the playoffs. It's what it does for his confidence, what it does for that team's confidence, what it does for this organization to say, okay, now our 4th one has won a race. So I think Erik is a guy who can get hot and do it, but golly, man. If you got to go up against mind games with Kyle and Kevin and all these guys.
To make it to that level.
If you make it to that level to win a championship, I think he can make it. He can make it to the 8. He can make it to the Final 4. He can.
Good.
And it's just cards would have to fall perfect.
But let's go back
for him.
2 weeks at Bristol.
Yeah.
If he doesn't hit the wall at the end of that race, he's won back-to-back races.
Yeah.
He would win Bristol.
Listen, we can
go
back.
He would have won Darlington.
We can go back a lot of races. I mean,
he's leading with 18 to go and hits the wall on his own.
Yeah, we could go back to a lot of races and say, and that's the same thing we talk about with 80%, 90% of these guys. Just put a whole race together. You know what I mean? Just give me a whole race.
Yep. Yeah. Got a YouTube comment. Larry Jackson wants to know, why can't we get Darlington in the playoffs in the future?
It is next
Got
year.
good news for you, Larry.
Good news, Larry.
Next season, the playoffs open.
Start at Darlington.
That's gonna be
awesome.
That's going to be big, man.
First round next year, Nate. Do you remember?
The first round?
Yeah.
It goes Darlington.
Is it Darlington, Bristol, Richmond?
Darlington, Wilkesboro, Rockingham.
It ends at Bristol,
It ends at Bristol.
Right?
Okay. I don't know.
or does it end at the Roval? It ends at the Roval.
I don't know.
Okay.
The cut races are Richmond, Bristol, Roval.
Yeah, look it up.
Right?
I'm
Google
gonna
it.
look it
No,
That's good.
the cut races are Martinsville.
Hey, we're going to have our own show here for a while. We'll be back.
Darlington, Richmond, Bristol. I'm being told by an authoritative source.
Yeah. Good. There we
Is
go.
the first round next year.
Thank you, Chris Lee.
I thought
It's also you can see right there.
Oh, there you go.
There it is.
There it is.
I thought Darlington, Rockingham, and
they're better
Wilkesboro
than
was,
we
was
are.
a better round.
There's a lot of short tracks next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah,
I
thank
told you it
goodness.
was Darlington, Richmond,
Yeah.
and Bristol.
I told
That is
you.
crazy.
I didn't even try to answer that question.
Look at that.
Thank you for
Look at
calling.
that.
Speaking of
Kansas, Texas,
Darlington,
and Martinsville.
we're going to go to the phones and talk to Luke, who has a Darlington story involving
Mahonix.
Kyle Petty. Luke, you're up.
Hey, Kyle, Marty, and Nate. How's
What's
it
up?
going, class?
It's going
What's
great.
Good.
Awesome. I was the one who called in last week about the Labonte brothers being the grand marshal in
Yep.
Nagshaw last week, and it was looking at the parade, seeing the float. Kyle Petty, I got a perfect picture. I tweeted you where you pointed me right out with the Labonte show, and you picked right up on it, man.
Yeah.
That was way too cool. And let me tell you what. Don't let that gray hair fool no one. He jumped right off that float like it was nothing.
Oh, he's still an athlete.
Oh.
Don't worry.
That's because y'all had cold beverages. No, that's a whole nother story.
That wasn't a parade, by the way, KP.
The parade was great, man.
Was it?
That is one of the most fun times, I promise you.
Did you break any windshields this year?
No, we did not break a
Okay,
windshield
good.
in anybody's car.
All right, good.
We threw some
step
through
forward.
the sunroofs of a few cars, but we didn't break a windshield, so it was a good day. Thanks for coming out to the parade, man. That was fun. That was
awesome.
fun.
Everybody loves
for
a
you.
parade. Let's stay on the phones and talk to Dick,
That's a great line.
who has another Petty-themed question. Dick, welcome to NASCAR America Debrief.
Thank you for taking my call, and I just want to ask Kyle Petty if they can run that same color scheme for the rest of the year, plus be able to still put the sponsors on it too.
Yeah, that was a good paint scheme for us, for me, and I said it. And they've sponsored the car how many times? I don't know how many. They did a deal with Worldwide Technologies, which is their sponsor, and Worldwide paid the money, and they put the Camp logo on it. And they've got some stuff going on. And it was the 15th anniversary for Camp, and Ron Adams' paint scheme there was pretty special. But that's a one-off deal, and that it worked perfect for them down there. It worked perfect for us, so it was a good day.
What I thought was really cool was that photo you guys took with
old crew
all the old
members.
crew members.
Yeah,
I mean,
all of Adams' team came back. A lot of his team, not all of them, but a lot of his team came back and had a picture taken with me by the car and with Bubba by the car, and then we put both teams together, and that was really cool because a lot of those guys, when Adams' accident happened, just quit racing, so they got out of racing. So for those guys to come back, it was a big moment for them too, and a big moment for us personally. I said it on the thing, and Bubba said it too. I mean, I just stood there and cried for a while, and I couldn't help it. It was really emotional to see Craig and to see Scott Kuhn and to see some of those guys because I hadn't seen them in forever.
And they gave you the jacket.
Gave me a jacket, yeah. Gave me a jacket that Adam had given one of them, and an ASA shirt from when a lot of those guys went back to his ASA years.
Wow.
So you go back to the late '90s. So it was really cool. It was a cool weekend
awesome.
for me.
a special
you guys.
moment. Special moment. Got a couple more phone calls here. NASCAR America Debrief. Let's start with Aretha. Aretha, welcome to NASCAR America Debrief.
Franklin?
No.
Hello?
No,
Hello.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi,
Aretha.
how are
What's
you?
up?
How are you doing?
Well, my question is, I'm not a happy camper right now.
Uh-oh.
We've been to every qualifying on Saturday, back to when they had the IROC race on Saturdays, and qualifying's on Sunday morning. We're wondering why.
Oh.
Okay, so Aretha is referring to the fact that qualifying for the Brickyard is on Sunday morning.
this
Yeah.
year.
Aretha feels as if she's not getting any respect
Are you going to
from
the race on
NASCAR
Sunday?
on this
Well,
day.
I
Did you
don't-
get that
we're not
reference?
the right people to talk to, Aretha. So
Sorry.
Kyle's was last year. He worked on the schedule, not this year.
Yeah.
So
Here's what I'm trying to get all the races to be one-day events, so I only have to leave home one day. So it's blame it on me. I don't know why did they do this way. We come in on Saturday and practice on Saturday. It's just NASCAR's trying different things at different tracks. We know next year they're running the doubleheader at Pocono.
Right.
And they're trying different things. And listen, Aretha, this is what I want to, for all you people out there, this sport is going to have to change to survive. It's got to change. It's got to change the way we do it. It's got to change the way you come and watch it. It's got to change in a lot of different areas, and you've got to be open to change. And we're not going to like every change that they throw at us. We don't like everything that they do. Fans don't like everything. The competitors don't like everything. But NASCAR has the best interest of the sport, the best interest of us, the media, the best interest of you, the fans, at heart when they put these things together. A lot of times they float them as a trial balloon to see what you think, what we think, how it works, and then they'll adjust accordingly. They've been doing that since the beginning of time. So for them to come in on a Sunday morning, run a qualifying, if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, we'll never see it again. And this will be the only time you have an opportunity to complain about it. If it does work, you'll see it a lot of other places. But please, if you tune into Motor Mouse, if you tune into this, if you watch this sport, please be open to change over the next few years, because there's going to be a lot of change that hopefully make the sport better for you.
Vote for Kyle Petty.
Sorry. That's what I say.
Just give it a chance.
You did a good job.
Okay.
Just give it a chance.
There's going to be a lot of change.
Give Peace a chance.
Yeah,
give Peace a chance.
Regardless, thanks for the phone call,
Yeah,
Aretha.
thank you very much.
Shout out to the Queen of Soul. Rest in peace.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, we have one more phone call here on NASCAR America Debrief, and it is Michelle. Michelle, welcome to the program.
Baker?
Not Michelle Baker.
Oh, good.
Hello.
It is Michelle from California.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, nice talking to you guys. My husband and I watch your show every day. My question is, why is it that I often hear drivers say we had a 5th to a 10th place car running today, and they've had the time since practice and qualifying to remediate any kind of deficiencies that they've had? How do they still end up running the race thinking that they're going into it with a 5th or 10th place car?
A lot of big words there, Kyle.
Love
That's a good question.
That's a really good question. That's a really
great
good
question, Michelle.
So here's what happens. Let me put it this way: it's complicated and simple at the same time. The sport has gotten so technical. Engineering has gotten so in depth. The cars, the inspection process. There's so many things that when I show up at the racetrack with this cup, okay, with my car, and I go out and run the first time, then I basically know what I have. I basically know what I have because I've done simulation, I've done the engineering, I know where it's at. I know what I have, but I have to see how I stack up against everybody else because Nate was doing the same thing and Marty was doing the same thing. And this weekend, they were just better than me. And there's nothing, I won't say nothing, there's not much I can do to make my car catch up with those guys this weekend. That's why we see such a huge swing where you see Martin Truex show up one week and lap the field and the next week can barely run in the top 15. Or we see other cars do that same thing. And I'm not picking on Martin Truex, I'm just saying that's why we see other cars fluctuate like that. That's what's so impressive about Kyle Busch. That's what's so impressive about Denny Hamlin lately. That's what's so impressive about some of these teams, and I'll say Kevin Harvick and Rodney Childress in particular, they can start with a 10th place car and work their way up to 5th or 6th. That's impressive to me. Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus could always do that. They could adjust their car accordingly. Most teams don't have that. So, you know, it's tough, man. It's tough to unload on Friday and be 8th or 9th in practice and make your 2 or 3 changes and say, that's all we got this weekend. And you got to live with it the next 2 days. You hope there's a big pile up or something happens and you pick up a few positions. But it goes back to the technical side of it. It's tough. It's not like it used to be.
Those are 2 articulate answers, Kyle.
Yeah, there you go.
Last 2, man.
It's my last 2 of the year. Thank you very much. Give Peace a chance.
Learn something.
A great question call from Michelle.
Yeah,
Michelle,
that
thanks
was
for
a
that.
great
Thanks to everybody else who called. NASCAR America Motorsports Hour tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern on NBCSN. Be sure to check that out. And also more phone calls. Victory lap after the race on Sunday. You can talk to Danielle
all the way on the
Trotta,
right.
Parker Kligerman, and the dude all the way on the right.
That is the dude right here beside us. His name is Nate
We'll be taking all your phone calls.
You probably have more
Nate
followers
Ryan,
than
Jess.
Danielle and Parker put together.
Make sure next time it's the dude, capital T, capital T. Thanks again for watching NASCAR America Debrief. We'll see you next time.
Nate, the dude. That's awesome.